What's good, Chargers? I'm Fenn. I am your host today, and we will be interviewing our school band teacher, Mr. Bunker. Let's get started. Attending the University of Alabama, you had the opportunity to participate in the $1 Million Band. And of course, Alabama's football team has always been one of the best in the country. So what's it like performing for such a prolific football team and fan base?
At first, when I started performing, I made it in the band my freshman and sophomore year. It was very nerve-wracking. Especially the first couple performances. I mean, we perform on live TV all over the country. Things like the SEC championship or the national championship. I mean, we performed hundreds of thousands of people in the stadium. And as you know, 19, 20-year-old me, I was so scared. But the more I did it, especially leading in my junior, senior year of college, I mean, it's just became another thing to do. You get acclimated to the stress, the climate. And you just get used to performing. I mean, we would get on the field and they go, okay, let's perform, and we'll do our thing. And we got out there and then we got off and, you just get used to it. It's a crazy thing to think about, but I still think about it now. I don't know how I did it, but.
Would have it been easier in like your junior year? Because that would have been your COVID year, right?
Yes, so COVID year we actually didn't get to perform too much. We did some virtual stuff on the field, but we never got into the stadium, barring with the football team, which is a little disappointing, but we still had a good time. Still won a national championship, so.
Yeah. When you were in high school, what motivated you to go to music for college, and why Alabama specifically?
When I was in high school, I really didn't do anything but band. I did marching band for 2 years, and then I was drum major for another 2 years. I did pit orchestra. I did choir my senior year. I did everything music. I didn't do anything else, and I realized, from my end of junior into senior year, that I was like, well, I guess if I like it this much, I should try and do something with it, I specifically chose Alabama because my grandfather is from Alabama. He grew up there, born and raised, and then moved to Kentucky later on in his life. But we grew up, ever since we were little, seeing Alabama and him telling us, that's the best band ever. And so me and my sister had thought about it forever. My sister's 2 years older than me. And so she made the jump and went to Alabama, and she really liked it, fell in love with it all. I kind of just followed along. I went down there too, visited, saw what she was doing, and it was amazing. So I just wanted to be a part of it.
That's cool. That explains why you're so good at conducting, because you did drum major for 2 years.
Yeah, a lot of
I was wondering, I was like, you keep beats so nicely.
I'm glad you think so.
Yeah. I've thought about doing marching band or just music in college, and I wonder what kind of time commitment that takes, and I'm sure it's a lot. How do you balance your extracurriculars with your major?
It's a great question, and it's very difficult because it depends on your major too. For me, music education is a lot of hours because you have to take your music classes, your education classes all at the same time. So I was taking, 20 credit hours a semester or something ridiculous like that on top of doing band for 0 credits, and it was just a lot of organizational time commitment, and which is really for me what I needed. I was not a very organized person until I got through college and kind of had to realize, I need to make my schedule and plan out my day and fit in a study time. And so it's just being very aware of the commitments you're setting yourself up for and going to those. And it's okay to say no too. That's the other thing I found out. I would get asked to do things and I'd be like, my plate's full, I'm sorry, but I cannot.
I kind of face that problem with band here too.
Yep.
It's like, I get asked to do, the musical or percussion, pep band, all of these different things. And it's kind of hard to keep up with all of that with everything else. So you were able to work as an intern for some of your time in college.
Yep.
Could you elaborate on some of your experiences?
Yeah, I interned too. I got very, very lucky with my intern placements, except I had to drive a lot. But I taught at 2 very big schools in Alabama. I taught at Pizzitz Middle School, very big middle school in Alabama, and Oak Mountain High School. I taught at both for 9 weeks each. So first 9 weeks in one school, the second 9 weeks in another school. I did middle to high school. The middle school level, I taught mainly 6th grade beginning band, which was a lot of fun. I love working with the little 6th graders just because they don't know anything. They don't know what's hard. They don't know what's easy. So you're just like, well, we'll play this scale. And they'll be like, oh, okay. There's not, oh, we've never done that before. It's like, oh, okay, we'll learn, yeah. And they're very excited about it, so I love doing that.
I don't know, after a while, it might not be.
You definitely got to keep them focused, for sure. But I had a lot of fun there, and then I went to Oak Mountain High School. Very big band program, one of the best in the state. I think they have 3 concert bands, 2 jazz bands, and 2 percussion ensemble classes. There's a band class every day, which for me, as someone who came from the school with a band class, and that was it, was a big adjustment. And it was a lot of teaching, constantly music going on in the room. It's one of the best things I learned there was, if you're sitting still, there's something you could be doing, especially as a band teacher with that many classes. So it motivates me a lot of times to just realize, oh, there's something I could do. Let's go figure out what I can do.
Always.
Yeah.
What was it like being a trumpet section leader for not 1, not 2, but 3 years?
Yeah, very exciting. Very stressful, very exciting. First year as section leader, I was a sophomore. And it was myself, another sophomore, her name was Charlie, and then we had Griffin, a junior, and a guy named Stone, a senior.
Okay.
And it was nice because Stone and Griffin went out of their way. They were like, hey, they talked to the older members of the section, like, these guys have a lot of great ideas, they're doing a lot of great things, you know, treat them with respect, all that stuff. And everybody kind of realized we were there to do our part and not just, you know, boss people around or do whatever. We were really trying to make the best section possible. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it so much. As a section leader, we got to go to every game, not just some of the home games. Because when we go to away games, we send a pet band, not the full band, so about 50, 60 people.
Oh, okay.
So they would only take 10 trumpets, and 4 of them are section leaders. So we got to go to every one. So on one hand, it was nice. It was amazing. It was cool to see all the football. On the other hand, I didn't get a weekend off from the beginning of band camp, like the 15th or 16th of July, all the way through February. Because their football season goes so long. So we never got a weekend off ever, on top of concert classes, like all of the other stuff. So it was amazing, a lot of fun, very stressful.
Yeah, and then here's me who thinks 5 Saturdays in a row.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But then you do that for multiple months on end, plus, you know, everything else during the week.
Yeah.
So,
a lot. And I mean, and we're in charge of, there's 60 trumpets. So I was in charge of 15, I think was my share. And they split them into parts, first part, second part, third part, and I was on third part. So we had 30 thirds, 20 seconds, and 10 firsts. So me and Charlie were in charge of 30 people collectively, making sure they all had their uniform, all of their instruments, all of their music, and it was a lot, especially as a sophomore to get into that. But it was demanding, but good.
If you didn't take a music education major, what other major would have you taken?
I've thought about this a lot. The only things I can think about I would have done, I wouldn't have gone to college for music, but I would have done like instrument repair. I think it's the coolest, most interesting thing ever to be able to take down and break apart a saxophone, a clarinet, a trumpet, a tuba, whatever, round out the dents, work on it, and they're super interesting. I did a little bit of it when I was in high school. I did a small internship, didn't last very long, I didn't get to do a whole lot, but I learned a lot. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. But by that point, I was already committed to Alabama and I wanted to go teach music, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I would have done.
That's cool. So a few questions about our school band, which I am in. If I had to guess, you are likely one of the youngest band directors in Southern Indiana.
Probably close, yeah.
Yeah. What were the challenges of taking such a high demanding position at, like, straight out of college?
Time management is huge. It's the same thing all over again. I mean, you know what we do. We have band camp that goes right into the regular school band that I have planned for, on top of teaching 2 general music classes, 6th, 7th, 8th grade band, and high school band. So I mean, I teach 5 classes a day. I have a lunch and a planning, or lunch duty and planning. So my schedule is super full. Again, it's just staying on top of it, knowing what you have to do each day, making sure you're at least a day or 2 days ahead of what you want to do. Because the second you fall behind, you're just trying to play catch up the whole time. So just trying to make sure I'm on top of my game and not being afraid to ask for help. I can't imagine the amount of times that I've gone, Mr. Gaffney, is this what I do here? And he goes, yeah, that's your fault. Okay.
Yeah, I've always been afraid to like ask questions and stuff, but you know, as I get older, I realize that's something I have to do.
Yeah.
Because like, if anything, you'll make yourself look more dumb
by doing something and not knowing. Yes. I figured that out very quickly.
Yeah. Fortunately, that took me a while.
Yeah.
So. Do you plan on bringing an assistant director in at any point? Because we haven't had one in like probably 6 years about.
Yeah, my goal is to grow the program in whatever way that may be. I'd like to get more kids in band. I'd like to have a jazz band. I'd like to make jazz band a class. I'd like to bring back the music theory and history classes that we've done in the past. But right now my schedule's so overloaded with everything else because I'm one person. I can only teach so much. So I think in a few years' time, if we get the band big enough and we show that we're putting in the effort and that there is value to what we bring to the community, I definitely think we could get a assistant or secondary director. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of room to grow.
I agree.
And that's a nice thing about the small band.
Mm-hmm. Lots of room to grow.
Yeah. What are some of your future goals to accomplish here at Pike Central?
Yeah, I would like to grow the band a lot. Within 6-7 years ago, I mean, the band was almost twice the size it is now. I definitely think within 3, 4, 5 years we can get close to back to that. A lot of recruitment ideas, a lot of things I want to do. I want to bring back jazz band, even if it's just as an extracurricular after school. I want to branch out people's playing experiences. I want to do different recruitment. I want to go play at the middle schools or do stuff like that. Really grow the program and just make Pike the best Pike it can be.
Yeah, jazz band, something I would love to do, honestly. I think just not only playing rock and metal would be nice for me. Jazz would definitely, widen my musical knowledge, I guess, and that goes for everybody else. Last question of the day. With COVID affecting all band programs across the country, we ourselves have had a hard time of recruiting middle schoolers into the band. So what kind of recruitment ideas do you have when the spring comes along?
I have a lot of stuff planned out. In my portfolio, my resume, I had like a list of things, like recruitment ideas that I made. The few that pop off the top of my head is playing at the elementary schools, taking the marching band or the pep band and going to the elementary schools and going, this is what we do, If you start in beginning band, we'll do some of these things. But if you stick with it, this is where we can get, and you can see the growth across the program. If we take, the 8th graders or the 6th graders, because they know the 6th graders, they know what they're doing. The spring semester, if they come in and go, look at what they've done within 1 year's time.
True, yeah.
Trunk or treats, like having the band do a trunk or treat, or playing at that, having a Halloween concert to, just get community involvement. We already do different parades and get ourselves out there. It's just really getting our names and our faces out there as the Pipe Charger Marching Brigade or our band or whatever it is.
Yeah, I do think that we do need to make ourselves more known across the community. I feel like we've kind of just isolated ourselves.
I agree.
As just one group. Even though we are still with the school, we kind of just do our own thing too much, I feel. So, well, thank you for coming on, Mr. Bunker.
Thank you for having me.
As a senior band member, I'm excited to see where you take this program, honestly.
Right. Thank you.
We're going to wrap up things here, and from Mr. Bunker and I, thank you for watching this episode of Chat with the Chargers.